I
Ready to
mean,
go
yeah,
live?
that's shit, but this one's really good.
All right. One, two. All right. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's edition of Music Maniacs with, of course, me, Dr. Earl, the Great YR, and Arknolia Stroke a Bean. We are live tonight. And tonight we're going to be doing something totally different. Now, the original topic that we had planned last week, we're going to put that aside for this particular for this particular discussion we're going to be doing on this episode. Now, as you know, we lost three unique musical artists throughout the weekend. We lost Jimmy Buffett. We lost both on this past Monday Gary Wright, who, as you may remember, for his big hit song Dreamweaver. He also had a couple other hits just as well, but none as big as Dreamweaver, to be exact. And we also lost the frontman of the band Smash Mouth, Steve Harwell, who passed away the same day that Gary Wright did, to be exact. And what's kind of funny is that, about Harwell's case is that he passed a day after being admitted to hospice care.
We'll be walking on.
Yeah. And you got to give Smash Mouth their credit because there was an alternative band, but they added a lot of 60s flair into their sound, into their music. Yes.
So people always about the Smash Mouth thing. Oh, hey now you're an all-star. Hey now, nah.
Yes. Yeah, that was one of the big hits.
I think their first hit, Dr. Brown, was that you might as well be walking on
Yep,
the
that
sun.
was it. That was it,
That
man.
Huge radio hit. Man, that was a huge hit. It ain't no down.
Yes.
Oh, and then
Yeah,
they cover the Monkeys, right?
Yes, they did their version of
Believer.
I'm a Believer, which I've heard a few times at the workstation radio. I remember hearing it a few times on soft rock stations as well. I remember hearing that on the some of the stations back in Michigan at some of the venues that I worked in. We cannot forget another song called Till the Morning Comes that was a follow-up to Walking on the Sun. And of course, the main four that I mentioned, there big songs there. Now, I'm not too sure what Harwell was dealing with at this time there. I'm not sure. I'm kind of surprised myself about this news
All right,
because, yeah.
So like about a year ago or
Hmm.
a couple years ago, year and a half ago, something like that. They did like a show and Smash Mouth did a concert. I don't know if it was a tour, maybe it was, you know how some bands do
Yes.
special appearances at, festivals or little things here and there. I think it was some in Vegas, like a street performance.
Mm.
Obviously with the stage and all that, but
Yes.
they have that in Vegas. I think it's called Formire Street or Frishmore or something.
They do it on the old what used to be the old gambling area. I forgot them. I think it's Fremont.
Yeah, Fremont. It's so
But
like
actually, I saw Paul Revere and the Raiders at one of those.
Yes.
I think
and I-
that was. I think that's what it was, Brian. It was a Smash. It was not Smash. It was Smash Mouth, and I think it was like a Vegas thing, right? Outdoor. But what's his name? You could tell he was either on some pills or drunk because it was sounding really
Bad.
really bad. Like the band was playing the instrument, the instrument,
see,
and you
yes.
can hear no vocal. It was just. Well, that came out like a year or so ago, or not too long ago.
Was this the performance that they already got pelted with hot dogs at? Because I remember
what
that.
year was that?
I know. I think it may have been a couple years back, but I remember Harwell said something that was not too cool with the crowd that they were performing at. I guess it was a hot dog festival, I guess, and he said something that was not too cool with the crowd, and they started pelting him with hot dogs and hot dog buns and stuff. Yeah, look for it on YouTube if it's still there. But at the same time, it's funny to look at. It's like, geez, man, what the hell?
Well, real quick before we get into the news,
Yeah.
Art, if you would like to look up, one of the famous Arknolia lists. Let's name off some after the news and everything. The Jimmy Buffett songs.
Yes.
From A to Z, how much we can squeeze in, how much we know, and we know what we're.
Yeah, that was a
Obviously,
big shock.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of songs, but you could skip one. Say the ones we know, and I mean, I know like 20 off the bat, and be honest, probably
Yeah.
more, but. If he didn't die, I wouldn't have called Brown to do this whole thing, and then obviously all these other people died. So Brown
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
the
Yeah, because remember,
hybrid of
you
making them
you
all,
saw Jimmy Buffett live one time, I guess, or
multiple
once or
times.
twice.
So
Oh wow.
So like once in Houston, unfortunately, but up here about 3 times. But the thing is, up here, this was all in the 2010s and on, past 10 years. The opening acts, guys. So first time we'll get to the we'll get into the Megadeth news, and then we'll get into the Buffett stuff after all these. I mean,
All right there.
But go ahead with you're talking about the Smash Mouth guy. When
Yeah.
did you? Obviously, that All Star song was on Shrek and multiple
Yes.
commercials. And
Yes, it was.
would you would obviously consider them like a 90s alternative, 2000s alternative?
Something like that, yes, definitely. Because they started in 1994. He retired from the band in 2021. I guess he was having some health issues. I gotta look up which kind of issues he was having.
Well, he died of the liver failure, which
Oh, wow.
was
Wow.
alcohol abuse basically.
Wow,
All that time. So
that's
you
something
figure,
there.
they got fame with that, really with that All Star song, but that Might As Well Be Walking on the Sun song was on the radio a million times.
Yes, it was.
Right.
Oh, it's
In
over the joint.
97, 98, 1997, stuff like that. And so you figure they got a shit ton of money then. That dude's out there partying for 20 years, drinking. 20 years of drinking is going to catch up to you quick. Especially if you drink every day.
Yep.
For like a long time, like say 10, 15, 20 years, that catches up to you eventually. A drink every now and then. Like me, I'll have maybe one margarita or two at a concert, and that's not all the concerts. And I really drink nothing at the hockey games, but for me, I might have a drink every now and then. But imagine people drinking every day, what it does to your body. And at the end of the day, it's alcohol. It's alcohol that imagine that eating through your body for all those years, and look at the liver failure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This guy probably millionaires. And Smash Mouth. Now the song and all that, it might seem cheesy to some people, but back then that shit was cool. Like that All Star
Yeah.
song was cool, bro.
Yeah.
Like backwards hat, everything. Like that All Star song was the shite, and I was probably like 9 years old. But I remember I was playing Little League baseball, and that song always come on, and we always liked that song. But obviously they play that song. I think if not one, a few. I think MLB licensed it or something for the All Star games. Because that song went perfectly. But I'm pretty, with all the sports and everything, they made a lot of money. Lots of money.
Definitely.
And so with that, some people party, that's their thing. Some people don't. Some people, and this guy, he sounded like he drank for, 20, maybe more, maybe probably drunk before that, but just in that span, even if it was just in the 2000s to the 2010 era, just 10 years, right? That's still a lot of time drinking every day. That's what I would guess, right, Ark? Liver failure. The alcohol,
Yeah, for
obviously.
the most part, yeah.
Yes, it
Alcohol
will.
abuse,
That will happen. We can name many
But that-
musicians that have died from alcohol abuse.
Well, this is type of deal to where the band had a few hits. You can throw Smash Mouth. I'll throw Smash Mouth in the same pond as maybe bands like Three Doors Down. Two or three big hits, if not just a few. They were still good, but a lot of radio play there, Dr. Brown. You know that a lot.
Yes,
I remember.
absolutely.
Really, obviously All Star, but that Might As Well Be Walking. That was a huge song in the late '90s. There,
It
that was
was,
huge.
Yeah, it came
Really
out
was.
in 1996, and still, as I mentioned, still gets occasionally played on the soft rock circuit, along with All Star and the Monkeys cover.
I think they use the like you're saying, it has that like older 60-ish maybe type of.
Yeah,
Don't
they
they
had
have like a little? Don't they have like the organ like the Doors used to have, or no, or some type of
yeah,
keyboard?
They use
type-
that for they use that kind of organ for the "Walking on the Sun" song, and yeah, there were a lot of clothing that was deemed kind of like alternative, but with a '60s flair to it, and some of the songs on
Like the bowling shirts,
correct, yeah,
button-down bowling
absolutely,
shirts.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, and we
We
also
know
cannot.
our shit over here, guys. We know our shit.
Yep.
The-
And let's not forget the music had that flair just as well to go along with it. I think it's something you would listen to definitely while watching one of the episodes of Mad Men, needless to say.
What about this other guy, Gary Weaver?
Gary
Um,
White?
Gary Wright.
Gary Wright,
Gary
yes.
Wright, yeah.
Yeah, he was, you may have heard the song Dream Weaver, have you?
Yes.
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 That's the guy who performed it. It basically came out, I guess, in 1977, if I'm correct.
I think so. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize that he was also in Spooky Tooth.
Yes, which featured, I
while.
guess, Mick Jones from Foreigner, if I'm correct.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
And Spooky Tooth had some awesome songs.
Yes. And of course, the Dreamweaver album, which it came out in 1975, came out after he had spent 7 years in London as apparently a member of the group Spooky Tooth, as stated here at the Wikipedia. He also played on George Harrison's All Things Must Pass album from 1970. He was friends with him as well.
In fact, if you go look up Two-Faced Man on YouTube and look up the Dick Cavett show, he comes on there as Wonder Wheel, and Dick Cavett tells him, and a special guitarist, George Harrison.
Yep, that's right there. He was a former child actor. He performed on Broadway in the musical Fanny before studying medicine and then psychology in New York and Berlin. He also met Chris Blackwell of Island Records in Europe. He later moved to London, where he helped establish the band Spooky Tooth as a popular live act. He also played on their albums like Spooky 2, You Broke My Heart So I Busted Your Jaw, his first solo record, Footprint, from 1971. And it featured contributions from George Harrison. It was conceded with the formation of Wright's short-lived group Wonder Wheel, as Art
Right.
mentioned, yes. Now, funny
And
thing...
Two-Faced Man is an awesome song. Really
yes.
got to find it.
Yes. Now, here's something else. He also did some film soundtrack work in the 1980s, including re-recording his popular song Dreamweaver for the 1992 comedy Wayne's World. And there was a reunion tour for the band Spooky Tooth in 2004.
Wow.
Yes. He also was a member of Ringo Starr's All-Star Band. He had his own live group. He also had a couple other hits just as well, other than Dreamweaver.
Love is Alive.
Yep, which I remember
Really
hearing.
Want to Know You.
Yeah, it's good song. I mean, I was reminded of that song thanks to a YouTube comment. I looked up that video. I was like, wow, that was when MTV was MTV at that moment there. And Love is Alive, I used to hear that song a lot of times at the old restaurant I used to work at back in Roseville, Michigan throughout the 1990s.
Dr. Brown, what year did the Dreamweaver song come out?
1975.
See, around that era, that band, obviously you can throw in REO Speedwagon,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
and then 70s era
yes.
that had a softer, you could call it soft rock.
Well, they didn't.
Would you?
Well, REO back then was a straight up rock band before High Infidelity came out, and those songs from that album just blew up on the radio like it did.
Yes.
Yes, remember they didn't really make it big until 1981 with "Keep on Loving You."
Ah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that song was played unanimously all over the radio stations everywhere.
There was a lot of songs on that album that were played.
Yeah, I can't. Don't Let Him Go. Hide. What is it? My heart. What is it called? About my heart. Hide My Heart. I guess it was called.
And there was one about heard it through a friend who heard it from a
Oh,
friend.
Take It on the Run. That was
Yeah.
another. Yeah, that was another play.
Oh, and then
Yes.
Keep roll with the changes. Roll with the changes.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was
earlier,
it.
but that was
That was
them too.
yes, that was 1978 when that album
Oh.
came out. When that song came out, I should say. The name of the album that song appeared on. Check this title out. You can tune a piano, but you cannot tune a fish. Yep, exactly. That's the name of the title. I guess it was some sort of a little joke that the band had going on inside them inner circle, I guess.
Yeah, and their first song that was impactful was Golden Country, which was, I think,
Yes, I remember that.
Um,
The second record.
yeah.
Yes, I had that second record along with a couple other songs. Like, I think it's what's that other song that I like You Do? I think it's called.
Yeah, and then there was the one with Riding the Storm Out.
Yes, yeah, that came later on.
Right.
Kevin, we're gonna have to do a topic on soft rock of the '70s.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
gotta
you're
do that
sick
sometime
and
soon.
all
That's
that.
for sure.
Yeah,
there.
because you can add Lee LO to that group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kevin Cronin, who hello.
Let's
hear
actually
you.
plan to do that later. And,
All right, Kevin Cronin, who goes on, who's obviously a lead singer, and that's a group I would like to see. I always miss them every year. They always tour with Styx, REO Speedwagon. They always do
Yeah.
a show with Styx,
Mhm.
and always because they always pick like the venues that are like way out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like way in
Which
fucking.
actually- Styx
Yeah.
is another band that add to that soft rock 70s.
Yeah,
though they were
babe, come sail away.
But Kevin Cronin goes on the Eddie Trunk show quite often.
Mhm.
Not like every day or every week, but like, every couple months, or have him on for a whole show. And he actually, it's 100% live, 100% live vocals, instruments, everything. But every time he does a show, he gets on Zoom with a vocal coach, and they go through like warm up routines and blah blah blah. And if they're doing he talks about doing some of these deeper cuts, or just even some of these songs. One of the songs they were talking about, one of the main songs, was a part, different parts on how to get through it and everything vocally. But yeah, it's 100% live. I mean, that's one of the groups one of the few groups from the 70s that. And I think all those older groups obviously are live, whether it's 70s, some of the 80s, right? Most of the groups are live, but some aren't. A lot aren't. But go ahead, Brown, with the Megadeth news.
Okay, I didn't get the. Do we have the Megadeth news in the Skype
Yeah,
chat?
send
here?
it in. Send in the Skype chat.
Okay, I'm checking it out there. All right, let's see what we got here, cause. All right, I don't see it for some reason. It's not there. Unfortunately, may have to send a link once again there, because I don't see it in the chat nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. Well, anyways, back to Gary Wright.
I'm Blabbermouth.
All right, gotcha. I see it.
Another good song you did was Blind Feeling on that first album.
All right, there. All right.
Brown, would you say, since he passed from Alzheimer's and Parkinson's or one of the two?
Gary Wright. I'm not too sure what he had,
It's
but
one of the two, which is basically the same thing.
how do we know
Art?
this for sure?
Well, they confirmed it. They said he passed from either Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease.
That's actually
Which-
two different things.
Yeah,
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
it is.
Isn't they both? You forget stuff though. Your memory loss?
That would be Alzheimer's or dementia. That's where you think about a lot of things there.
Parkinson's
what-
is a nerve thing.
So what is Brown? What is
I think
Judas
Parkinson's
Priest.
is a nerve thing.
Yeah. And by the way,
What
for the
about-
record, the album.
Hello,
What?
Dr. Brown from Judas Priest? What is
Glenn Tipton.
crap.
He's
Glenn
the one
Tipton
with
had-
Parkinson's. Yes.
Parkinson's?
Yes. Parkinson's is
can't-
Ozzy
you don't-
Osbourne as well.
So it's. Well, look up the Dream Mover guides because they
Right.
confirm. I'm just getting mixed up which one. It's either Alzheimer's or Parkinson's that he passed from.
Well,
but
I'm
you can't-
looking at it right now. It says here, he died in his home in September 4th at the age of 80 years old. He was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia and Parkinson's disease around
There you go.
6 or 7 years before his death.
Wow.
Yes.
So you can die from Parkinson's, basically, right? Or no?
Maybe
I
so.
don't know about that
I don't
one.
know about that one, but I know dementia can
You
cause
can't
it
Just
as
physical.
well. Yes.
I guess it's a physical. Parkinson's is physically you get worse. Like you.
Yeah, it's a nerve thing where you lose control. I don't know if Keith Emerson had that or not, but he lost control of his hands. He couldn't play anymore, so he committed suicide.
Yeah, which is deeply sad because this man was a massive god on the keyboard along with Rick Wakeman. And which is sad because I'm looking up the Dreamweaver album and apparently it was an all keyboard album, one of the first of its kind. With the exception of a couple of drummers here and there, it featured him, David Foster, and drummers Andy Newmark and Jim Keltner.
Did
was
It's a good album.
yeah.
did that chart go
Oh, yeah.
number one
Oh,
or
yeah.
anything like that?
Oh, it did. It was
know
a
what I
big
mean?
album, yes. Massively big album. In fact, All Music, a magazine, describes the Dreamweaver album as one of the first rock albums created solely via synthesizer technology. It was released in July of 1975 and enjoyed minimal success in America until the release of the second single, the title Cut, in November of that year. The song in which Wright had written on the acoustic guitar after his visit to India with George Harrison. It went on to peak at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the Cashbox Music chart, becoming Wright's biggest hit. It sold over 1 million copies in the U.S. and was awarded a gold disc by the RIAA in March of the following year. The album climbed up to number 7 on the Billboard 200 and was certified double platinum. The second single, Love is Alive, which meant to be the original first single, hit number 2 on the Hot 100s.
Wow.
Made to Love You peaked at number 79, although neither the Dreamweaver nor its singles charted in the UK. The album was a massive seller in West Germany, as was known at that time, where Wright said Spooky Tooth had been the number 1 band during 1969. And after that album became a big hit, he toured extensively with the band, completing 3 keyboard players and a drummer. His elder sister Lorna, also a professional singer, joined a touring band as his backup vocalist. Wow. He had a lot of keyboard. He was basically one of the first keyboard-oriented artists out there prior to Gary Newman, needless to say. And
Dr. Brown, there's two news pieces.
all right,
Basically, it is the Megadeth. Did you get that? And then
I got it right here on my phone. I'm going to
the
read
big
it
one
for you
before I
guys.
forgot, because I almost forgot, and this one's bigger than that one. But
Yes.
read that one first. But
All right, I'll do
we need
so.
to, real quick, Brown, we need to mention the other news piece. It's the Rolling Stones' new album.
Yeah, they got a new
Potentially
album coming out.
New world tour, perhaps a world tour there. But with the Megadeth news, basically, I figure Bombassy's
All right,
talk
Derek.
about Metallica, but isn't talking about isn't talking about that you don't talk about Metallica. Technically, talking about Metallica.
I don't know. You know what? At this point, it's an old, tired ass subject. We all know what happened during his time with Metallica. We know he got brutally booted out of the group while he was in New York. We knew what the cause was, his continuous
Why won't they bring him
alcoholism.
back? Why won't they bring what's?
Well, because James and Dave had they had a lot of fights, physical fights. In fact, it got to the point that their original bass player, Ron McGovney, if I'm correct, his last name is, decided,
together, bro.
well, they did the big four shows over across Europe, I guess, with Slayer and Anthrax. They did that. But then again, you got to remember they're two opposite ends, needless to say there. But it would be nice for them to tour together, no doubt about that, because they're two amazing, great thrash metal giants. The thing is, people keep bringing up the Metallica stuff all the time, like fans, journalists, and
Well, wait a minute.
so-and-so.
What songs did Mustaine do when he was with Metallica that, can you name some? Maybe I saw them live, because they did play a lot of early stuff live.
Well, you may have to look at some of the early, look on possibly online to find those early demos. The Four Horsemen was originally called the Mechanics.
That Whiplash song, is that a Dave Mustaine?
I do not know myself. You gotta,
It's an early one though, right? Whiplash is early enough. It makes sense.
Yeah, maybe so.
But you're basically saying Mustaine wasn't on any of the albums, Metallica albums. Basically.
Yeah, that is true there, unfortunately. Other than that first demo cassette that they put out called No Life to Lever, that's about it. All we know so far. In fact, they're on the verge.
We gotta rush. We gotta rush through the news because we have a big.
All right, there. So let me read this. Let me read the article that Wire sent me via Blabbermouth. Dave Mustaine says, I don't really talk about my time with Metallica. In an interview with Rock Antine, conducted last month's Summer Breeze Festival in Germany, Dave Mustaine was asked if he ever gets sick of constantly having to answer questions about his former bandmates in Metallica. He responded, quote unquote, I don't really talk about my time with Metallica. I don't bring it up. So if somebody brings it up, I'll just answer the question, but I don't usually bother doing that. I think in a way, it kind of gives the impression that I need to talk about them in order for me to feel good about myself, and I don't. I really don't. I feel good about who I am just because I feel good about who I am. It has nothing to do with bands that I played with in the past, and if it was, I would say that the three bands that I was in that, I enjoyed Panic, I enjoyed Megadeth, more than I did with Metallica, because we just did a lot of arguing when I was in Metallica, like I stated earlier. He continues by saying, I loved playing with those guys, but it was meant for a reason, and I look back at that time with a lot of fondness. I used to not because I was still hurt from losing my job within the band of Metallica. But now I know basically that things happen for a reason. no matter what they are, and whatever I was still good in that group or not, that was out of my hands. Once I accepted those things, acceptance is the key to all my problems today. If there's something happening in my life that I cannot change it, and I spend my time wasting energy and effort to try and change something that I cannot change, man, you're going to go nuts. So I've chosen to find the happier things in life. So basically, he is getting tired of. If someone does bring up the days of Metallica, he'll definitely answer that question without a problem. But he doesn't really talk about it altogether because he's focused on his groups, basically Megadeth, and this other project he just mentioned, Panic. I guess he doesn't want to dig in the past no more, which I don't blame him. Because to me, it's like an old, tired-ass subject. Like it's been talked about for ages and ages and ages on what caused Dave to be booted out of Metallica the way he was. I'm sure Mustaine was hurt and angry over that, not getting the full details on why he was booted out. But then again, when you think about it, if Kurt Hammett didn't join the group in his place, maybe by chance Metallica would not have been as big as they are now. Think about it. So one of those things, like maybe if Bon Scott didn't die, would they still make it as big as they did with Back in Black? For those about to rock, flick of the switch, who made who? And if Fleetwood Mac were still getting along with no problems, will we see those songs that appeared on the album Rumors? Interesting question to ask yourselves, guys.
Did we lose you or me?
I'm here. I'm here, guys.
Okay, because you suddenly went
Really? I did not know about
blank.
this. I don't know why. Bit of Skypes. Once again. Alright, now, why are also mentioned about the new Rolling Stones album? I guess the Rolling Stones are doing a new album, I guess. Let me look it up right now. Let's do this. Alright. They have a new video for the song Angry, which is coming out. The album is called Hackery Diamonds, and it's going to be the first as a trio. Jagger, Richards, and Woods. Of course, Bill Wyman, the original bassist, retired ages ago. Charlie Watts died last year. And of course, the new album is going to be coming out pretty soon. I don't know too much about the album myself. I just know it's their first album since 2005's A Bigger Bang. I remember seeing it a few times at the Kmart's in Richmond, Michigan around that year. Here we go. I don't know why I did that. Dang gummit. Alright. That's all I really know about that. It'll probably be either a couple weeks or next month. I'm not too sure. But
there will be a tour.
yes, there will be. Yes, absolutely.
Art, did you find the Jimmy Buffett song list?
I have a Jimmy Buffett song list.
All right, good. You do?
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of like a top 20, but it's, their top 20. We may not agree, which we can discuss.
Mm-hmm. Now,
all right,
of course,
let's
go ahead.
Well, hold on, Brown. Let's do. Let's obviously read that, but individually, let's do our top favorite 3 Buffett songs. Like, let's think about that for the next, while we go down, and then by the end of the show, we can give our list 3.
Well, we can also, basically, this may spark memories.
Yeah.
The number 20 on this list is a song called Gypsies in the Palace, which, to be honest, I don't know.
All right, so
either one of you know that song?
well,
No,
yeah,
I never really had any.
Hello, Dr. Brown,
Hello?
can you hear me?
You're loud and clear.
All right. So yeah, let me explain. So, um, I don't know what y'all's first memory of listening to music or hearing music. Obviously, a lot of us maybe cartoon songs and Christmas carols, stuff like that. But my first memory was, I mean, probably like 5 years old. I don't know, Jimmy Buffett listening,
Wow.
and a lot of the, he had a lot of live albums that were good. He was known for his live concerts and everything, but there was one that came out. The live album was it was called Feeding Frenzy. Dr. Brown, if you want to look that up, I believe 1990. I believe on that. If you want to look that up, real
Feeding
quick on that
Frenzy.
year, Feeding Frenzy live album, and that was Gypsies in the Palace is on that live album. Now, much like groups like obviously Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, you can throw in just any group with Foo Fighters, any group with huge set lists. Jimmy Buffett has huge, not set lists, but just huge catalogs. So there will be like Gypsies in the Palace. That was you never heard that song again live on any. I mean, there was a few other live albums after that, but you know what I mean. Like you on that specific one, you would hear ones that you wouldn't hear. But we need to not forget that very early on, y'all probably know this, but very early on, guys, Jimmy Buffett was inspirational to actually work with members of the Eagles early on.
Really?
Yeah, you never heard of that?
Yeah, not really, but in terms of songwriting, I guess it was.
Yeah, look at it. Can you look it up? Because I mean, it's something to like not while the Eagles. It was like early on, and the two main members of the Eagles, the two of them, like Jimmy Buffett giving them advice, amongst other things, I believe. But yeah, I mean, he was definitely a tool, not a tool, but like inspirational to them in a way. And this is way before the Eagles make it big, but there was definitely, and that goes into the opening acts that I saw him play with. But he, they had, I didn't see it. May have happened once, and I forgot. I don't know, but he had Joe Walsh come out. A guest spot here and there. But yeah, look it up, guys. He was, I don't want to say worked with the Eagles, but like the two main members, Glenn Fry and
Don
Don
Henley.
He actually, them figuring out themselves and their music, even before like the Eagles were a thing, or very, early on, rather. He was a part of that, just like how that Jerry Jeff Walker guy was to Jimmy Buffett. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the shows I saw Jimmy Buffett live. Jerry Jeff Walker was the opener on that one before he passed. This was probably 2013, 2014 type deal, 2015 even, maybe somewhere around there.
Jerry Jeff
Mr.
Walker was a good
Bojangles.
artist.
Mr. Bojangles and everything. But the first
Up
one,
Against the Wall.
the first
Did he do
one,
Up Against the Wall?
I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar.
Let's
It's
see
it's a. Go
the
ahead, Brown. Look that
the
up
only
real
thing
quick.
I saw here was that Jimmy Buffett was the opening act for the Eagles during the Hotel California tour in 1977.
Well, there's in that Eagles. I don't know if it's like the main documentary or one of the new ones that come. Because they have that Reels channel, and then they have the Access TV channel. But I
Yes,
know
I
I
know
watched
that.
something. I know I watched something, and like they were talking. It was the Eagles, and they were talking about early on. They mentioned Jimmy Buffett,
Mm-hmm.
You know, it might have been even like the advice of Wright. Wright. I think this is what it was. Like they were friends, everything type deal. But not only
Yes.
that, but like he gave him the advice of write try to write your own songs or something like that. You know, so it was very very important and important enough that they shouted him out in the documentary. But that's what it was. It was something to that effect. But one of the other shows, guys, the first one I saw, you know, when it was up here, it was the Huey Lewis in the News opening.
Really?
Huey Lewis in the News. Obviously, I think he got sick, or didn't he end up passing away, Huey Lewis? Or
No, he's still alive.
I think he got sick, like he got deaf or sick, or something really bad, like
He got
where he
ill
quit.
either way there. He
Yeah.
wasn't able to make
So
the
that
gig.
was good. So yeah, that was. But the last time I saw Jimmy Buffett was probably 2017, 2018, guys.
And you gotta tell everybody what a massive party it was inside the arena
No, I
and
know,
outside.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Getting there. So imagine this: 2018, 2017, somewhere around there. Jimmy Buffett headlines in Texas. The opener, ZZ Top, guys.
Oh man.
Z
Nice.
before Dusty Hill passed. Probably a couple years before that, 2 or 3 years before that. It was around the time that, like, the news came out that he fell and got injured or something. He fell off the ladder and but it was around like the 2017, 2018 time, maybe 2016, but around, you know, not too long ago. And I try to go as much, you know, sometimes, I don't know, I should have gone every year. I don't know why I didn't go every year, but the point being is, I think I got those tickets, like, you know, right when they went on sale. I think I paid $300 a piece, but it was fourth row on the floor. So fourth row on the floor, ZZ Top opens. I'm standing. I'm right in front of Dusty Hill. I'm on the left side.
Nice.
I mean, the whole set of all the hits. And then, you know, Jimmy Buffett's sets are at least a couple hours, at least 24, 25 songs, a lot of songs, guys. But speaking of that there's so many songs and hits, but just getting there, like you said, Dr. Brown, I mean, this might be bigger than, I mean, the following and the death might be bigger than Jerry Garcia, dare I say.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I guess with that comment you just said, you're going to start off a little debate between the Deadheads and the Parrot Heads, which is the name of the loyal Buffett fan base.
I mean, it's obviously two completely different deals and everything.
Oh yeah,
but,
definitely.
you
But
know, this death is so huge, and so because Buffett he toured every year. There was people that used to, I don't know necessarily when like all that became a thing and everything, because there's like videos of him doing a concert. This is way back, probably in the early '90s, you know, late '80s, early '90s. But him doing a concert and everyone in the audience, it's like they're in water. He's I don't know necessarily on a beach, but maybe a lake somewhere, beach or lake. But everyone's in like their boats and their tubes, their floating tubes, and drinking, and literally like the audience isn't seats and everything and concrete; it's the water. I found that pretty cool, but definitely a type of music, type of artist, obviously can't be duplicated. It's hard to put his music in a genre of music because there's, you know, your reggae, you got your country, you have your classic rock vibe in the '80s. You know, a lot of the live shows, they had a really good, I don't know what was his name, but they, on some of the songs, Because obviously a lot of it in the 70s was acoustic, like all the originals and the early stuff was a lot of it was acoustics, and obviously the island vibes and stuff, the island sounds,
Yes.
Jamaican reggae music sounds. But in the 80s, I not found out, but I was seeing that he uses whoever doing the electric guitar, like it's really jamming, like on some good class, like almost like Boston vibes, like that Boston tone almost.
Yes.
The classic Boston guitar tone, where it was rocking like man, but it was Jimmy Buffett songs. And like I said, in the 70s, it was more of a softer country type thing, and he incorporated more in the live shows with the reggae, the vibe, and I mean, there's so many songs, guys. There's so many. Obviously, your cheeseburger. I mean, we're gonna go down the list, but there's so
Okay.
many of the early stuff. Go ahead, Brian.
All right.
Number 19 on the list is one of his more rocking songs, Livingston Saturday Night.
Hmm.
That was a
Okay.
good song.
All right. Well, let me start off by saying I didn't. What the heck?
In the 80s, there was a bunch of corny videos, music videos in the 80s. He used to do a lot. Corny is a good word, but just different.
There we go.
Still had the
Something came up.
mustache in the 80s.
Yeah, it's true there.
Too, by the way, guys.
Until he shaved it off at the start of the 90s there. And you know what?
Did you see that Feeding Frenzy album? Did you look that up?
I did look it up there. It's a live album. I'm
What
looking at
year
right.
on that?
What's up?
What year on that was that?
It came out
1990?
1990, correct, yes.
Yeah. That was my first, guys, that was my first introduction that I can remember. I mean, obviously, we can leave out, Power Ranger theme songs, Barney
Yes.
theme songs. Obviously,
Please do.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
I know.
when you were 4 or 5, your, Scooby Doo theme songs, or the cartoons of your day, would be pretty much every child's earliest memory of a song or music. But I only can think back to when I was like 5. I don't know what age y'all's earliest memories of anything is, but pretty much it's 5 for me, maybe 4, but 5 years old. I mean, I can't really think of anything before that. But that album, for me to remember that is great. I mean, there was other like songs here and there from that time that I do remember, but just that album and every song on that album, and listening to that album now, and I'll put it on, maybe while I'm fishing or something. It definitely, that was your first. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's wild, it's out there, it's like the Jimmy Buffett live album, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And to have the guys, to have families build their, I don't want to say their life around Jimmy Buffett, but honeymoons to Key West and the Margaritaville resorts, and just being a fan. And this was definitely different. I know the Eddie Van Halen loss was pretty big for me and Brown,
Yeah.
but this Jimmy Buffett one is different. This might be the biggest musical loss for me personally
Yeah.
that I can think of. Like, I mean, there's big ones like Michael Jackson dying, blah blah blah. But for personally, and that's why I'm explaining it now, how this is it's not affecting me, physically, but it definitely is a bummer because the music puts you in a place of peace. Your escapism,
Sunshine.
Brown.
Beach. Yeah, that was his big theme, and he took that theme to the whole next level in terms of business-wise. Escape to the islands. That was his main. That was his main MO right there. And by the way, I gotta throw this in here, that Buffett was also a unique businessman as well. Now, Margarita, it spawned the entire island escapism brand. He was a chairman of Margarita Holdings LLC, in which he had a 28% stake in. He had resorts, he had restaurants, casinos, cruises, lots of merchandise. And his business acumen landed him on the Forbes billionaires list for the first time since April. I believe this was April last year.
But
when
like, what
first
he
appeared.
really made the money on
I
was, I
know.
mean, like, it's not necessarily a Margaritaville alcohol, but like,
Yeah.
he started getting incorporated with these like casino and resorts.
Yep.
Casino, is a key word there. When you start Margaritaville Casino and Resorts,
Yeah.
Margaritaville Resort, like
Margarita resorts.
that,
Yes, that was another of
that's
his
raking in
adventures.
money. Obviously he had like the Margaritaville margarita mix, but it's not necessarily, look what Sammy Hagar's doing. Like his brand is
Cabo
built
Wabo.
around like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's really the alcohol brand. Really,
Yes.
like I don't know necessarily they have a Cabo Wabo resort. I know they have like bars, Cabo Wabo bars, a couple bars like branded bars, but like that's what Jimmy Buffett did with his brand, just with that word Margaritaville, and that appeals to that older crowd, 50 and up, that probably, if not already retired or retired, and what are they going to go see? Oh, you want to go to Florida, or you want to go to this destination? Oh, there's going to be a Margaritaville that they can, that they relate to that. I mean, there's a lot of Jimmy Buffett fans, but then there's a lot of people that don't care for it either. I met a lot of them, fans and people that don't care. I mean, it's either you love them, or you really don't care too much. But
You
you can't really judge. Dr. Brown, you really can't judge Jimmy Buffett off the goofy.
I'm
There's a lot of
not.
goofy songs. There's a lot of.
Yeah, I remember hearing one
if
of
you
those called "Let's Get Drunk and Screw." I liked
if
it,
you
that
want
one.
if you want to call them like parody songs or whatever, there's that. But there's a lot of serious songs as well, just life songs. And go ahead, Brown, with your statement. There's a lot here, guys. I'm going to be
Yeah, well,
talking a lot on this one, but go ahead.
yeah, go. Well, it's kind of funny is that Buffett's fan base, you're going to be in tears, no doubt about that. But you know what? I'll bet you right now the Margaritaville resorts are going to be jam-packed. Business is going to be booming now in terms of everything we mentioned. And definitely his honor, no doubt about that. Because, Buffett had a business. He was a good businessman. He had a lot of things. You know, he had an estimate wealth of $1 billion at the time of his death, according to Celebrity Net Worth, and his stake in Margarita Holdings was valued at $180 million, according to Forbes magazine. But the exact scope of his empire, according to this article which I have up, was a secret. Margaritaville Holdings didn't disclose its finances, and he usually declined interview requests about that. He basically kept his earnings and how much he earned it from his music, business ventures. He kept that secret a lot.
How many, he released an album, like, especially in the past 10 years, and there's a whole new album going to get released. But he released a lot of albums all the time, guys.
Yeah.
All the time. Obviously, I feel like the most famous, there's one white tuxedo or white suit
White blazer.
and, pink constration,
Yeah.
crustacean. Look that one up, Brown.
The was the being. Well, I'm looking at
White-
this. I'm still looking at
Hello?
what
Can you hear me? Can you look up the white sport coat and pink crustacean album?
pink,
believe that's what it's
white.
called.
What's called white sport coat and a pink carnation. It's a song. It's a studio
No.
album. But I see there. Yeah.
Pink crustacean.
Pink Station, yes, I see it now. I got confused with the Marty Robbins song title, but it's a different word in its place.
I think he's doing that on purpose. I think he's parodying.
Yeah,
that,
pretty much. Yeah, a lot of people do that at times. Hence, some of the Ministry albums.
You know what a crustacean is, correct?
Like
what
a
is-
crab.
Really?
It's like a lobster, crab, something like that.
I see there. It was
Generally, pink crustacean would be a lobster.
I see there. It came out in 1973 in July of that year. It was his
I
first
mean, we're
album for.
talking 50 years, guys. Talking 50 years of music. Was that his first album?
I'm not too sure what his first album was, but it was.
Gotta be. It's gotta. We gotta look that up. We gotta find what his first album was. Can you look
Okay,
it up
but-
real quick?
And while he's doing that, number 18 on the list is a song called "Oldest Surfer on the Beach," was written by Mark Knopfler in 2013.
Oh wow.
It's a newer song. It's a newer one.
Yep. Sorry I jumped in like that, but if we go at the pace we're going, we'll be here.
Yeah, we gotta.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
my.
true. You got to remember, Ark has his list he wants to read out to everybody out there.
Brown, look up that first album and Ark. Continue with the list.
Hmm.
Number 17 is something called "The Great Filling Station Hold Up." That
Yeah, a
I'm
lot of
not
those early songs were more country
Yeah.
based, and that's one of them.
In fact, believe it or not, I remember when I was living in Richmond, Michigan, a lot of country artists were digging into Margaritaville and a couple of his other songs, like the ones that I already mentioned. Cheeseburger in Paradise, Let's Get Drunk and Screw, Changes in Latitude, Changes in Attitude, especially Margaritaville.
Well, why am I
that
reading
was,
the list?
Go ahead, Brown.
Yeah. All right, see what we got here.
Brown, did you find that first album? Go ahead.
Yes,
Roy.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking it up right now. I'll give you a couple of minutes. It's called Down to Earth. And it came out in, let's see, 1970 on the Barnabé Records label. And it was owned by Andy Williams.
What song was there on that one?
Let's see, looking at it right now. Let's see here. Give me a couple minutes here. There's about 9 songs. LSD, Captain America, The Missionary, Can't Be Your Hero Today, Ain't He a Genius, The Captain and the Kid, There's Nothing Soft About Hard Times, that's true there, Mile High in Denver, and The Christian. Let's see to show more here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Turnabout and Truck Stop Salvation. Those are the song titles on that album.
All right, number 17, Ark.
Well, actually, number 16.
Mm.
The other one's the Hold Up song. Trip Around the Sun. Number 15 is Pencil Thin Mustache. Number
You don't know that
14
one?
is Boat Drinks. I don't know that one.
Never heard of that.
Number 14 is It's Midnight and I'm Not Famous Yet. Number 12 is Volcano. That's a great song. I like that one. Number 11 is Nobody from Nowhere. Number 10, Why Don't We Get Drunk? Left off the other part.
Yep, I know, and we know which part we're talking to. I just mentioned it a while ago.
Number 9 is Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes. That's a great song. Number 8 is Come Monday. Another great song. Number 7 is One Particular Harbor. Number 6 is A Pirate Looks at 40. That's a good reflective song. Number 5 is Margaritaville.
Oh yeah,
Surprising, I thought it'd be number 1.
I was thinking that myself. That's the main one right there.
Number 4, Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Oh,
and a
another
little
one.
story, I actually ate at a Cheeseburger Paradise when I visited Hawaii.
Yeah,
Had lunch there.
yeah. They actually there are restaurants named after that song. Believe it or not. I don't know if it's owned by Buffett himself or he started it, but obviously somebody liked that song and decided to call his empire the same name, I guess.
Well, I'm sure he gets a cut out of it.
I'll bet.
Dr.
Yeah, I was
Brown
going to say that just as well. Yeah.
Dr. Brown,
Yeah.
do you feel like we should have open borders, or do you feel like
No, I
Immigration.
doubt. I doubt that very much. If you have open borders, so many people are going to climb in no matter what. but there's so many. That's as much as there are good apples, there are a lot of bad ones just as well. You know,
Well, that's true of the people here.
yeah, that's true. Very true there. And too many times we've seen them, they get all the Americans jobs and all that stuff.
When I see you. All right, so.
And by the way,
explain.
let me also put this out on that, and we'll close
we'll
that
quit.
subject.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It's not just the immigrants that come in and take the Americans' jobs. It's also the companies that hire them that are just to blame because, hey, it's cheap labor. We could keep the rest of the money instead of paying out these workers that we have who demand pay raises every 2 or 3 months.
Well, needless to say, it's a issue with many sides.
Yeah. A side which will probably is become another civil war, like abortion is.
Okay, number 3 is a song called "He Went to Paris." Number 2 is a song called "Fins."
Huh?
It's probably my
And
favorite
number
song.
1,
Y'all ever heard of that one?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, really? Did you play
Yeah.
some of it?
Me? I don't know the song. I never heard of it before.
Okay, so that's the one where if you're at the live show, like the lights go dark and they play like kind of the Jaws theme on the piano because fins,
Yeah.
right?
Yep,
It's like
exactly.
shark fins. And
Yep.
people make a pyramid with like if you raise up your hands like jumping jacks,
Yep.
but you put your hand,
Right.
put your,
I
you
get
put
the
your
idea.
arms. Yeah, you put your arms up like a pyramid, but like, kind of like a fin.
Yep.
Like
it
a
looks
fish
like a
fin.
fin, exactly, yeah.
And so they may like imagine everyone in the audience, what the lyric is fin to the left, fins to the right, the only bait in town. So everyone moves their hands to the left, to the right, like in the shape of a shark fin there. But then they have, and they each in each city they have their chapters, but it's called the Finmen, and they're they're wearing helmets. I'm trying to explain to it. It's basically they're wearing these gigantic shark fins on their head, but they're made out of a big old styrofoam. But it's huge. It's probably like, guys, it's probably like a 4-foot shark fin, like jumbo size, on their head. It's a homemade thing, but there's probably like 10 or 15 of them, huge. And I think it's like on a helmet, like on a construction helmet built. They built it. It's the Finmen, and they have their individual chapters in each city. So, I mean, it's a whole thing, guys. I mean, and that's just inside. Like you get there a day early, and obviously this is never, ever, 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 ever going to happen again, ever, unless they do some type of one last tribute thing. But like that would be pretty cool, actually. Like one big last Margaritaville bash with obviously his band, right? But have like the guests like Alan Jackson, Kenny Chesney, all the people that kind of you can throw in a lot of country singers, but that would be pretty cool. Just one last. But other than that, this I've never seen. Only when I go to Jim Buffett shows. But just imagine going, because most concerts, normal concerts, you get there a couple hours early or sometimes 3 hours early, whatever, depends on. In the case of like Metallica, I got there quite early there, noontime or whatever. So
That way you
imagine
hear the sound check.
Yeah, imagine you it's a thing though, you kind of already have to know because a lot of people just do this, which is like it's a party in the parking lots. And so
Yep, like the Deadheads.
There's literally imagine like obviously there's places for you to park your car, but there's probably like hundreds of RVs and their fans. And pretty much they travel from show to every show.
Like the Deadheads. It's kind of funny.
Right.
It fits to say that Jimmy Buffett and the Deadheads, and the Grateful Dead, I meant to say, my apologies. They had probably the biggest fan base ever.
Really?
Yes, the Grateful Dead had the
live
Dead.
shows.
Yes, absolutely.
Live shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Live shows. So
Yes.
was there like instead of RVs, there was like tents or just people walking around type?
For the Grateful Dead, I'm not too sure. I never been
Or
to
like
a
more
Grateful
like-
Dead show
With it,
myself.
like just imagine. Obviously, in a parking lot, there's tons of cars, but
Yeah.
in this case, there's RV, and then next to the other RV next. I mean, I'm talking nice $1 million or however top of the line drivable RVs, not no redneck piece of shit junk RV. I'm talking some big shit, some nice like TVs. Come out of them and shit, like on the
Yep.
outside part, bro. Like people watching TVs on the outside because, like, around, there'll be games on, college games, whatever.
Yep.
But a lot of those people don't even go to the concert. They just because it's a party. It's a literal party, and you walk around. You can walk around with zero money. I mean, there's people handing out like Jello shots, and little
Yep.
tiki games, the tiki booth, little homemade, man-made tiki. It's all nice and stuff. Tents, like the nice tent set up, and people,
Yes.
doing the drinking games, and doing the drinking games. And,
Oh, it kind of
alcohol,
reminds me of the Roxanne drinking game. I gotta tell you that later on.
and then you can walk around, drinking beer, and walk around like in the park, like what I'm saying. So by the time it's time for people letting in, I mean, this is starting at like 12, 1 o'clock type thing. Not to mention the night before is usually pretty popular, and it's a lot of the college type people coming, college vibe there coming to part. Like it really is. You would think, oh, it's a bunch of old people. Yeah, the old people there, they're the ones sitting in their RV or outside the RV drinking and listening. Like they got the big boombox blaring, and a couple of people there. There was a couple. There was a few, not just one, but a damn live drum set and guitar and bass, and couple and doing music, like live music right there. Doing one of these persons covering some of the Beatles song and doing good too. Just
Yeah.
regular old whatever, like rich, whatever, little amp, little drum set, but just
Yeah.
just all these RVs, guys, nice RVs, and but like people walking around, it's definitely a younger crowd walking around because they know, hey, you walking around, you play these games, you can get these free alcohol and everything.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
obviously, there's police and everything there. It's not like wild parties and people, shooting
Yeah,
and causing
absolutely.
fires. It's people walking around. It's peaceful. It's chill. But then by the time you get into the concert, it's fucking lit. People are. It's not like dangerous or like aggressive drunk people.
It's happy drunk.
It's happy drunk people, but everyone is happy drunk. Everyone is. And you can
I'm
tell,
no
like, you can
surprise
just tell
there.
how-
Yeah.
You can just tell how, like, just I don't know, like you can feel when you're at a concert, you can feel what I like to call like the electricity in the audience.
crowd
Like you can
ambiance.
really, yeah, and you can just really. I mean, especially when you have when you have a view of the whole play. I mean, it was filling up soccer stadiums and baseball stadiums. He did a lot of MLB stadiums, guys. Obviously the pavilions, you know what I'm saying, too. But so obviously you go and he does his thing, 24, 25 song set, maybe even more on that, close to 3 hours on that. Long time, but good. You want more. I mean, if you're a fan, if you're a parrot head, I mean, it's all we get mad. But there's nothing. I mean, obviously, maybe they're going away. The whole the new Grateful Dead, the one that was touring with John Mayer and everything, Bob Weir, the Bob Weir
Yes.
Grateful Dead experience. What was it
Yes.
called?
Dead and Company.
Dead and Company. Yeah, like so. Maybe I mean their last whole tour was this past year. They're finishing up, if not already did that. But besides that, maybe, which is not obviously not happening anymore. What the Jimmy Buffett, the whole before the concert thing, is unlike anything. It's up there with like this Metallica thing I went to. It just blew my mind amongst. I mean, it's just something that. And it's simple. It's just a bunch of RVs and on the parking lot surrounded by the video. But that's a lot. I mean, you're talking hundreds, and it gives you. It's a thing. It's like when when you show up to a concert or a sporting event and you drink a couple beers before or during. It's just everyone's doing it, and that's the thing to do, and that's everyone's. That's what it's there for. Same as with this parking lot party thing. Like, it's a known thing. But yeah, you show up early, 5-6 hours early, whatever, and you walk around, you make the rounds. I mean, there's people dressing up as pirates with like real. I mean, not multiple, but people
Pirate
with parrots,
coats.
like a
Oh,
guy
yeah.
with a parrot, Dr. Brown, like a live parrot.
Ah, nice.
I mean, it's just everything. I mean, it's like I said, good vibes and everything. And I mean, you can't really, and like I said, any other concert or sporting event you go to. I mean, yeah, there's tailgating, right? NFL and whatever. Imagine it's pretty much that, but like it's the RVs. There's like hundreds of RVs, and it's because those fans travel to every show. And that's crazy to think about, because if you go to, obviously there's people that probably go to every sporting event of their team, like your, Florida Panthers, you know what I'm saying, or Florida Miami Dolphins. There's probably people that go to every game on that there. And it's just a thing, and that's never going to happen again, guys.
Yeah, sadly.
There's no, unlike groups like Foreigner and others, and groups with 2 or 1 member or whatever, that you can't do that with the Jimmy Buffett.
No, you can't. Because, not unless there's a tribute. Let's say members of his band, the Carol Reefer Band, decide to put together a little something in his tribute there. Possibly call it the Jimmy Buffett Experience, featuring the Carol Reefer Band. Maybe that could possibly be something like what Bob Weir is doing with Dead and Company.
Yeah, but like he was the main focal point of it. Like,
Yeah.
it was almost like how you look at the Monkees, but really, what's his name was the main dude. You know what I mean?
Michael Nesmith,
Davy
No.
Jones.
Davy Jones. Yeah.
No,
What?
Mickey Dolenz.
Mickey Dolenz is the
Come on.
well, actually, you said main member of the group. You thought, I guess why I was really trying to say original only member left.
Well, that would be Dolenz.
Yeah, exactly.
But Dolenz was pretty much the main focus.
Yeah. And by the way, he also did some
Or like
directing of those
Kiss.
episodes. Would that be Paul and Gene? Without a doubt.
See?
Yeah.
So what's the number 16 or number 15 on that one?
Well, no, we're all the way to number 1. Number 1. Do 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 do. Sorry, little from fanfare.
Go ahead.
Son of a sailor.
Interesting.
Okay. So like, I know pretty much all the songs. Like, that's
a great song.
I don't know if I put that to number 1 though. Like, I would put
Do your top 5.
do my top 5. All right.
Do they have to be in order? No.
I'm gonna put mine in order though, from 5, least favorite to favorite.
Well,
Which least favorite is
favorite's
still, least favorite
know.
is still the top favorite.
least favorite's still a damn good song. Let's put it that way.
I would put that is a good song. Like, but I like Pencilton Mustache. Y'all go ahead first on that.
Okay. Number 5 for me, probably Volcano. Number 4, Changes in Attitudes, Changes in Latitudes. Number 3, Come Monday. Number 2, Son of a Sailor. And number 1 for me is Margaritaville.
Yeah.
I was in a couple of bands that actually covered that song.
Oh, yeah. I used to hear that song covered by a lot of people on karaoke nights, and when I was in Richmond, Michigan. In fact, it fits to say that a lot of country artists, country radio stations, played a lot of Jimmy Buffett on their playlists
I
there.
wish I had it. All right, so number 5 is going to be Son of a Sailor. Number 4, it's going to be Fins. Number 3, it's going to be Fruitcakes. Number 2, it's going to be. See, but I like them a bunch, so if I keep them off the list, that doesn't mean I don't like them. But 3 will throw in One Particular Harbor. Number 4, or number 1. How about Last Mango in Paris? That wouldn't be my number 1, but we'll do that like number 2, and we'll do. Come on, Ark, we're gonna take out Son of a Sailor. We're gonna throw in Come Monday for number 4. Number 3, Fins in number 5. Number 4, Son of a Sailor. Son of a
How did I kill you? Come Monday.
Yeah, Come Monday, Fruitcakes, number 3. Number 2, One Particular Harbor, and my number 1. My number 1. Did I already say my number 1?
No.
Go ahead.
Oh, the Last Mango in Paris. So we'll do that for number 2. We'll do Particular Harbor on number 1. Okay, but I'm leaving out Pencil Thin Mustache. I threw Fruitcakes in there because I really loved that song when I was 9 or 10.
Well,
So
the thing about lists
Fruitcakes,
like
yeah.
we're doing now is it could change. Tomorrow we might have a different opinion.
there's so many. There's more.
Oh, there's a
Fair
lot
to
of
say, there's more Jimmy Buffett songs that I know than a lot of other songs, like Judas Priest. I don't know, it's up there. Brown,
Yeah.
I know a good. That list is hard though. That 5 because there's a lot. Last Mango in Paris. I don't even know if y'all heard of that song, guys.
I haven't heard it actually. The only ones I've
Oh
heard
my
were the men's
God.
I mentioned before.
Nah, but there's 20
Brown's list
more.
would be interesting.
Go ahead, Doctor.
Well, I don't really have a list myself. I only know the songs that I heard back in Richmond, which is the 4 that I mentioned. But the one song I really dig from him was the one called "Let's Get Drunk and Screw," because God knows everybody has done that once or twice in a year.
Can you play that on the guitar?
I gotta listen to it once again because I only heard
I
it
think it's a
once or
couple
twice
chords.
back then.
Well, basically speaking, and this isn't true with every song, but a lot of the Jimmy Buffett songs are fairly standard. They can be
Yeah.
picked up. I know Margaritaville's that way.
Yeah, that's true there. And now you
So
mention
many
it.
songs, guys.
You know what? In fact, going back to Gary Wright, earlier on, after I got done putting the thumbnails and details on for this show, I picked up my guitar and started playing the chords to "Love Is Alive," one of his earlier hits. For some reason, that
Fine.
song. Go ahead.
Boo-doop, boo-doop, boom, boom, boop, boop.
Very simple chords for that one there.
Brown, we're gonna get you the Yamaha acoustic guitar.
Sounds good there.
Would
I
you
like
like?
that.
Would you pick? Would you pay $40, $50 for
If
acoustic?
I could find, well, if I could find one that's a little bit cheaper, first and
pawn shop,
foremost.
Brian.
Yeah, we got a few pawn shops I got to check out sometime soon. I'm hoping one of these days to get me a hollow body guitar, something like in the vein of.
Damn,
Whoa,
what was that?
Marcus Simeon just hit a solo home run
somebody.
for the Rangers.
All right.
What'd he do?
What?
Marcus Simeon, he hit a solo home run.
One.
Ooh,
I was gonna say I
Yes.
know who he is.
I thought somebody
But
joined the
we got
call.
two.
And,
We got 2 of them. So
mm,
I wanted to go to this game. It's just it's a pain in the ass going out there.
We need the Rangers to go to the playoffs.
They fucking been stinking lately. I'm rooting.
I
I want
know.
them. I want them to go far because I want them to see win a Texas shootout. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Team Texas teams. But we'll see. You know how the Mariners are. They're in first place, but they get. Brown,
Yes.
did you? I don't know why in the hell you never went to a Jimmy Buffett concert.
I don't know for some.
Drinking doesn't even have to be your thing.
Mhm.
But for those people that like to drink and that doesn't know about that, Jimmy Buffett concerts and like the pre-party thing, imagine like that's a thing. People just do that and don't even go to the concert. But still, when you go to the concert, it's packed. It is filled. It is packed, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like I stated. Go ahead.
He was playing. I mean, recently, mostly a lot. I mean, obviously through all the years there was the amphitheaters, but still was a good 10 to 14,000. But he was playing MLB baseball stadiums. Baseball
No surprise.
parks.
No surprise.
For real. Which I never saw a baseball park show because sound
I
isn't.
did, but it was a long time ago.
Was it for who?
I went and saw, this is weird, I went and saw the Monkees, the Grassroots, Gary Puckett, and the Union Gap.
Dang, and how was the sound?
Wasn't too bad. It was in the old Ranger Stadium, Turnpike Stadium. And that was in
1938.
When did it build? Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, but yeah, pretty close.
No, but probably like at least the 60s, right?
Yeah, I
it
believe
was
so.
the 70s.
Mm.
It was in fact, it had to have been after 78 because was already out of the service at that point. So it had to be 78, 80, somewhere in that range.
Mm.
I was going to ask you when the old ballpark in Arlington, the one before the one in now, was built.
I think 1994.
Okay, yeah, it was in the mid 80s. My kids were still at home.
But I always remember Nolan Ryan during that time. So they might have built that ballpark in the 80s. I don't know.
Which I have a little story about that. I was actually at the ballpark the day he pitched his 7th no-hitter.
Dang.
That was so cool. And in the new stadium, middle stadium, I guess you'd say, I went the night Kenny Rogers pitched his perfect game. So I've seen 2 of those type of games in person.
Yeah, 1993.
Yeah, I think this concert was in the 80s, but I don't remember exactly when.
That was called, I guess, Arlington Stadium is what they're calling it.
I think it's Ballpark at Arlington or something like that. It's a weird name. I don't know what they call the new one. Globe Life Park.
Yeah. So, Dr. Brown, did you get did you go to the castle this weekend?
Last weekend I did, yes, on Saturday evening.
Did they have it looked hot there, Brown. Do you carry a towel with you? A little towel?
Well, what I do is I let myself air dry. I get down. The only towels they have are paper. Well, let me explain.
I don't know. It sounded weird to me.
Well, here's. I do basically when I take a shower, I dry myself off, but then I let my hair air dry basically. I don't use a hair dryer. I don't do that at all. Plus, I just set it to whichever way I like it, which is slick back, and then goes forth from there. But basically, I know
gel?
No. What I sometimes
Wait,
I do.
Whoa.
What are you talking about?
Whoa. When you're at work, every time you're at work and you make the videos, your hair looks smaller. Like you.
Well,
so like you're telling me
frozen hair.
You're telling me when you go to work, you don't wear gel?
Well, I do sometimes wear gel when I slick it back. A lot of times. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. But In terms of hair looking shorter, no, it's not getting shorter. It's I haven't touched it since that botch haircut that I got at that dipshit salon.
It wasn't even that bad. Brown, it growed in pretty good.
Yeah, I know
And
it's growing in right now. It kind of looks like in a way a cross between Anakin or Luke Skywalker.
yeah.
That's what
Are
my
you
nephew
gonna do
said.
it?
Yes.
Are you gonna do it diet? Are you gonna do it the diet? Are you gonna dye it black?
No, possibly
No.
not.
You used to, right?
Yeah, I used to back then, but not now. Not now. Not.
You don't have a lot of
yeah.
gray hairs coming in, right?
Yeah, but nothing you could do about it there. But I think it fits to say that, going back to Jimmy Buffett and the Grateful Dead, both bands had huge fan base that had tailgate parties outside of their concerts, parties inside of their concert venues as well. Both groups sold tons and tons of merchandise. Fans would bring in, whatever stuff they would bring to sell just as well. The only difference is with the Deadheads, it was mostly LSD, and with the Parrot Heads, it was shots, mixed drinks.
Well, I did want to thank Brown for doing this channel tonight on the show.
Yep. Yeah, your channel, Hockey Channel 360. Yep.
No, Dr. Brown, what was the topic for tomorrow night?
Well, I
Well,
go
Women
ahead, Art.
wrestling?
go ahead.
No, originally I
Well,
was.
I thought we were.
Go ahead. Well, what it was is that I originally had last week planned for an episode of Movie Madness, where we were going to take a look at one of the two sci-fi movies that got me into the sci-fi genre, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The other one being, of course, the first Star Wars. And because I've been thinking about that movie, I've been watching clips of that, especially when the mothership descends onto the Devil's Tower area. And I was like, wow, that brings back a lot of memories when I first saw it in the theaters as a child. I was thinking about, talking about that movie. Then, whoa.
What the hell?
I was going to say, man.
Or what's his name's injured? Solo
Who?
home run.
Hey.
Brantley.
Who did?
Garcia. Looks like he.
Oh,
fell
Adolis
kinda
Garcia?
weird. Yeah. Brantley.
Yeah, that guy was from the dark. I mean, he came out of nowhere.
Dominican Republic. Dr. Brown, go ahead.
Yes, and basically, now, Arks just said something about doing TV memories tomorrow night, which what we're going to talk about again?
Actually, we could do Music Maniacs next week and combine it with TV memories. Because what I was thinking is talk about all the artists and such that ended up with TV shows. Because there were a lot of.
Yeah, there was a few. In fact, one of them is still on the air right now, Kelly Clarkson.
But there are a lot of them.
Yeah,
there's shows that were inspired by musicians. There were shows that musicians were in.
Yeah. Gene Wilder had Alice Cooper on one of his shows there.
We're talking TV,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Gene Wilder, the actor, had a TV show of his own that ran on, I guess, ABC for a good number of years. And one of the guests on there was Alice Cooper.
Wow.
Yep.
Let's do that Wednesday, and I guess the Close Encounters thing tomorrow night.
Booyah.
I guess.
I'm ready to roll. Yes, definitely. And why are you got to be ready? Because when we talk about this movie, go to either Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, look it up and watch it. Whether it's the original or the director's cut, watch it. No doubt about it. Please watch it. You will not be disappointed. And also fits to say that movie got me interested in UFOs, theories, and everything else in between. All right?
It is worth a watch.
It is.
Is he still here?
Is he still here? Let me see. He's
he
still
is.
here. Yes, he is on mute at the moment.
And actually, if I say the movie's worth watching, keep in mind I don't do many movies.
Yeah,
I'm not a movie person.
exactly. So definitely check it out for sure. And like I said, we'll be discussing that movie tomorrow.
Dr. Brown, what is
Yeah, what?
Dr. Brown, what is the topic for tomorrow? Because I missed all that because the Astros just hit a home run and then Garcia left the game arc with an injury.
Mm.
He went up to catch the ball, he missed it. It went to be a home run, and then when he got to the ground, like I guess twisted the ankle or something like that. So I was all watching that. So what did I miss? Like what is tomorrow's show about, Dr. Brown?
Tomorrow's going to be Movie Madness, where we take a look at Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And we'll reserve the topic that Ark mentioned for the next episode of Music Maniacs next Wednesday night.
No one knows about these movies.
That's what we're
I
here
can
for.
add
To let
Well,
I
that's
can-
massively. Go ahead.
I can add absolutely nothing because I've never even heard of that movie. What the fuck?
this is why you need
Steven
people like
Spielberg, you need to
us.
Wait, Steven Spielberg. It is definitely worth watching. And like I was saying, I don't do many movies. I'm not really into movies, but I did like that one.
Yes. And you
We
got
have to do the whole. We have to, Dr. Brown. We have to do the Hellraiser series sometime.
Yes, we got to do that as well as
You
as
know,
well as the
horror
Fast
movie.
and
Once we get closer to
Halloween.
Once we get closer to Halloween, we can do the Freddy Krueger series. We
Yep.
can do
Night-
some Halloween
Halloween.
stuff, guys.
Halloween series, as well as the Fast and Furious series. There, got to send that out to
Nah,
Richard
no, come
Barber.
on.
That
no.
has nothing to do with Halloween.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
no
what
one-
I'm saying, but
no
that's
one
a
likes-
suggestion for the
Okay,
next
no one likes
edition,
that.
sometime after
Okay, no
Halloween,
one likes
maybe.
Okay, hey, I'm going to say that the month of October is reserved for Halloween horror
Okay,
Yes.
movies.
exactly.
Yes.
It's not Halloween yet.
We can do Need for Speed next year.
Oh, come on. And we're gonna send that
Hey, I like
Fast and
this
Furious.
AR guy.
And we're going to send that episode out to Richie Barber from the Super Ugly Show. Because he is a fan of the F&F franchise. In fact,
No,
we
we
should
do
probably
like,
get him on the call for that episode.
Well, like YR, Fast and Furious is one that I'm not going to be able to contribute to because I'm one of those people I've never seen any of them. What are there, 10 of them?
Come on,
Oh,
bro.
that's-
No one watches that. Everyone's only seen the first couple ones when The Rock was in there. Probably in 2010.
Oh.
For Christ's sake. I couldn't even. Like, that's the last one. And I don't even think. I mean, honestly, that's like the last one I've seen was, I think. I don't even think I watched it fully. If they all match together, and I'm not shitting on it, it's just they all. We can get into that, like longer series is, Friday, obviously, the Terminator series.
Yeah, we got to do that as well.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We dabbled into Batman.
Oh, yeah.
So we
definitely
already
got
did that, but-
definitely got to do that as well. That's
Well, we
another
did
movie
already, but
franchise that will never die. Or
Do y'all
Superman.
prefer Star Wars? Do y'all like Star Wars or Star Trek better?
I don't know. I was more. My best friend is more into Star Trek. I'm more into Star Wars.
I'm kind of torn on that one.
And we already did episodes
Star
on both.
Trek has many. Yeah, Star Trek has so many. Yeah, we did 3 on the original Star Trek series,
Yes.
one for each season.
Yep.
Well, Brown, I believe in November, or it might be October actually, October 5th or something. On Paramount Plus app, the new or not new season, but the reboot of Frasier, guys.
Mm.
It's official. It's coming. It's either October 6th or November 6th, but I think it's October 6th. It's the first week of
Does-
the month. Well, it's going to be obviously Kelsey Grammer is a star, but it's a whole new
Right.
cast. Like it's going to be then much like Cheers, where from Cheers it went to Frasier with the new cast, pretty much.
Right.
And everything you have to learn about. So it's going to be different for me. And that is my all time. I mean, I'm not crying. I'm not shitting on nothing. I'm gonna see how it's gonna be, and I'm gonna try to do
Right.
it. So I'm gonna do some reviews on that. But that is a huge deal for me. I always watched the show after it came on after SmackDown back in
That
the
was
day.
a good
There.
show.
Mm.
Oh,
was
I
a
mean,
good
Cheers
show.
was great too. Like Cheers was great too, and everything.
Right.
But Frasier was like, you really have to. It's the type of show you have to pay attention. Number one, like
Yeah.
you have to pay attention to get so you can get the tons of jokes in there and tons of comedy. It was a drama, but it was comedy. Yeah, it was a mix. It was more
Situation
of a
comedy.
There was a lot of
Sitcom for short.
Well, there was a lot of what they called not hidden jokes, but kind of under the radar type jokes, which you had to kind of, when you heard it, go, "Oh, damn, yeah." You know, those kind
Very
of jokes.
entertaining show. Very. So it's going to be interesting how this reboot is going to be. Because I mean, the only downside is they're not going to have Niles' character,
That's a shame because I liked the Niles character. It was funny.
and then
And his dad.
the dad passed, but they're still going to have other characters, probably. Maybe not every episode, but like reoccurring. Something we'll
Right.
see. I mean, I'm going into it like it's not going to be like the next episode of Frasier where we left off. It's going to be like he's way older now, and
And it's going to be different. You won't have the radio show, whatever.
yeah, I think his son's going to be older, different actor, but it's going to be an older. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a whole new deal. So it'll
Right.
be very interesting. Damn, I'm excited. I mean, that's one of the things was like, damn, you would have never thought it would happen. But like, if I'm telling y'all, if seeing the Frasier reboot, anything is possible to be rebooted at this point. Friends, I mean, it's that big Seinfeld reboot.
I never got into Friends.
Yeah, neither did I. Remember, I worked usually worked till about 11 or 10 p.m., so I wasn't able to watch any of the primetime shows around that period there. But if it's to say that Frasier was one of the very few spin-off series that made it big, whereas others, like, whether inspired by MASH, Friends, didn't fare so well, unfortunately.
It was the long. It was the longest. It was like two things, like the most Emmys for something, 12 Emmys one year or some shit, and then it's like the longest sitcom or something like that. Think about it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Longest spin-off, yeah, sitcom. I mean, if you think about it,
Actually, that could be a future thing about TV shows that were spin-offs, successful and unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of spin-offs.
Absolutely.
wasn't Roseanne a spin-off?
I don't think so. No.
No, that was more of a stand-up comedian whose routine got made into a sitcom, kind of like Seinfeld.
Yes, exactly. Let's not forget the George Carlin
And
show.
there was another one. Yeah.
Oh, Bill Cosby.
I mean, there was another one that's fairly successful. Well, yeah, but that wasn't based on. Well, maybe it was based on his comedy.
Yeah.
I know some of this comedy mentions he did on the Cosby Show was based on some of his skits.
Dr. Brian, you're a big George Lopez show guy? You don't watch the
I
George
never
Lopez?
really saw George Lopez, like I said, because of my work schedule I had at that time.
Ray Romano show?
No,
that
never
one called?
did. Remember, I wasn't able to watch any primetime shows around the time those programs aired because of my work schedule.
What was the show? What was the show with Ray Romano?
Everybody Loves Raymond?
Oh, Everybody Loves... That
Raymond.
was a funny show.
That was good, right?
Oh, man. His father, Frankenstein's monster in Young Frankenstein, what the hell was his name? His father in that show was
Brad
great.
Garrett?
I mean, I really liked the... No, he played Frankenstein's monster in Young Frankenstein.
Oh, Peter Boyle.
Peter Boyle.
Yes. That was his name.
He was fantastic in that show. he was a great old crustacean, I guess you'd call him. I don't know. But he was hilarious in that show.
He was. In
But
fact,
I wonder why did Jimmy Buffett shave his mustache?
I do not
Probably
know. I don't know. I'm not too sure. If he was still around, you could probably ask him. So probably he feel the need to change. And if it is, but then again, it would be the same as asking Freddie Mercury back in 1980, why'd you grow a mustache? Because when he did that, fans were like sending razor blades to the Queen's headquarters in England.
Oh, did y'all see any of the footage of, not my footage, yes, wink wink, perhaps maybe, but the footage of the first Aerosmith show. I think it was in Philadelphia or somewhere in like Pennsylvania, something like that. Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. It was them and from like a week ago, and there, and they had Black Crowes opening. And here, you want me to read out the set list?
Yeah, go ahead,
Aerosmith?
dude. After that, we'll probably have to get going because it is 8:38 here on the Eastern time zone.
Oh, Dr. Brown, are you okay?
Yeah,
Yes,
I need
everything.
to go.
Yeah, well, Ark has got to go as well. So, but go ahead and read the list off, YR, dude.
All right, so there's 18 songs in all. A lot. All right, so first song, Back in the Saddle, then Loving an Elevator, then Crying, then Janie's Got a Gun, then Adam's Apple, guys. 5, then Living on the Edge, number 6. Number 7, No More, No More. Number 8, Ragdoll. Number 9, Hangman Jury. Number 10, Seasons of Wither.
Good
Got
song. Great song.
Number 11, Moving Out. Number 12, they do a Fleetwood Mac cover called Stop Messing Around. And Joe Perry's on lead vocals on that one.
Nice.
Number 7, Rats in the Cellar. Number 14, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. Number 15, Sweet Emotion. Number 16, Toys in the Attic. Number 17, Dream On. And number 18, last song, Walk This Way. A good set list, right?
All right.
I'm probably going to hit this, guys. I'm like 85% sure. I don't have the tickets yet or nothing. But I'm going to try to go to this. And it's going to be pretty big. It's the sound. Everyone's saying the sound is great and everything. Like, everything sounds great. What's his name sounds great. You know.
For a kid in terms of handling that lineup.
Dr. Bauer, we do appreciate you, my
Hello.
brother.
Yes.
Hello.
I'm here.
All right. Tomorrow's show, we'll be talking about the movie Forrest Gump. And we'll be
What? Yeah, Wire. You have Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Movies 24,
No, I don't-
25.
I don't pay for none of that. I'm only going to do, I'm going to pay for Paramount for Frasier when it comes out next month, but I don't have any other. Why is it on Netflix?
Well, tell you what, look on YouTube for scenes from Close Encounters and definitely check them all out.
What year on this movie?
This was 1977, the same year the first Star Wars came out. And it fits to say that those two movies got me big into the sci-fi genre, big time. Because everything that was related to sci-fi, I got into. Whether it's Battlestar Galactica, which we got to talk about in the next TV Memories sometime soon, in a few weeks from now. There was Buck Rogers in the 21st Century. I was big on that show. As well as another show called Project UFO, produced by Jack Webb from Dragnet fame.
All right, we'll be talking about the movies, the TV series MASH as well.
Dirk.
We could.
All right, there. Okay, so Movie Madness, looking at Close Encounters, will be tomorrow night, same time, same station, here on my channel. And also, before I go, subscribe to YR's channel, Hockey Channel 360, as well as his other channel, Master of Concerts. Subscribe to Ark's YouTube channel, as well as his Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Arknolia and sign up for whichever tier you want or like or prefer. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ladies and gentlemen, and hit that like button and notification bell just as well. And we will see you tomorrow night at the same time. And remember, folks, we are not alone. And
What?
look at the ads for that movie, and you see what I'm talking about.
Oh,
They're right there. All right, and
We
raise
are not alone.
precisely. And also, toast to the three artists that departed from us: Steve Harwell, Gary Wright, and of course Jimmy Buffett. Raise your margaritas high,
Why you
high.
feed them hot bread?
Yep.
Oh, never mind.
Right. All right. We'll see you
All
tomorrow.
right.